Gorey Group 2021, this is case study 2, Jim. Jim drove heavy vehicles and tankers for the past 10 years and was qualified for international carriage of dangerous goods by road, ADR. Class 3 goods for the past 7 years. Your ADR card lasts 5 years. Okay? This morning, Jim's job is to take an empty tanker to a fuel distribution depot. He collected his documentation from the traffic clerk and made sure he was carrying his ADR authorization and driver's digital tachograph card. ADR card is just like the tachograph card, credit card size and made out of plastic.
How many years is that valid for, Leon?
5. If you're ever unsure, always go with 5.
We found out the CPC
Okay, Safety and Health at Work Act of 2005, and the cards are valid for 5 years. And on the spot fines of 500, it goes at 50,000 or 5,000 or 50,000. It always seems to be 5s, all apart from the Safe Pass, which is only 4 years because they're just odd. And that traffic clerk should really be the transport manager, I'm guessing. He downloaded the card only 5 days ago. That's his tachograph card. His truck was fitted with a digital tachograph. Jim needed both documents today because of the type of work he was doing. So obviously he needed his tachograph card, but because he's moving dangerous goods, he needs his ADR card as well.
Should he not have CPC and his driving license with him as well?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Now there's 2 types of ADR. There's packages and there's tankers. Tankers is a tanker, anything over 1,000 litres. And packages, or some people call it core, is everything else. So if it's not in a tanker, it's core, or it's called packages. So that's if it's pallets or boxes or jerry cans or packets, it's all referred to as packages, okay? Jim needed both documents today because of the type of work he was doing, but like you said, he also needed his license and he also needed CPC. After completing his vehicle checks and nil defect report form, Jim checked all the safety equipment to make sure it complied with his ADR authorization. He drove to the fuel depot with an empty tanker. What's the rule for filling a tanker if it doesn't have baffles or surge plates?
2080.
2080. Less than 20% full or more than 80% full. Because that liquid slushing around will pull you over as little as 14 miles an hour or 22 kilometers an hour. That's the same as...
You shouldn't fill the neck either in case there's expansion.
Yes, ullage. Depends what you're carrying.
Yeah.
Okay, like if it's some gases, you need to leave 15%, and petrol, you need to leave at least 3%. Okay, because it like you said, it expands. You go to fuel depot, blah, 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 what we talking about, or 2080, yeah. Also, if you're going around a roundabout and all the liquid goes one way and then you're turning left and all that liquid comes back, say it's 50% full, so it's in phase with you turning, it can pull you over at 22 kilometers an hour. But as I was saying, that is the same as swinging beef as well. And you have beef hanging in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
That acts in the same way. It all swings to one side, and then you turn left, and all that beef swings left as well. That will pull you over. But listen, you just need to be aware of these things. You'll learn these things as you go along. The tanker was a rigid 4-axle. Maximum weight of a 4-axle? 32 ton. Fitted with single wheels, providing extended tracking. Oh yeah, single wheels, extended tracking width. That's one of the questions that comes up in the CPC. To prevent rollover, what feature of a truck would help prevent rollover? And the answer is single wheels. Okay? Because I would have thought it would be road-friendly suspension, but the answer comes up single wheels. It had road-friendly suspension, a design gross vehicle weight of 32,000 or 32 ton, with 3.7 meters high. Is that okay?
Yeah.
What's the maximum height?
4.7.
4.65.
4.65. 4.65. What's the maximum width, Leonard?
2.55.
2.55 meters. And had the most up-to-date tanker specifications and fuel compartments. So it's different compartments, different pods. So like you was discussing earlier, you can have petrol in one, or 1203 in one, 1202 in the other pod, and 1223 in the other pod. Now, there are some chemicals or some liquids which you can't have next to each other in the truck, even though they're in separate pods, yeah? But diesel and kerosene and petrol is fine. Jim arrived at the fuel distribution depot and complied with all the site and safety regulations pointed out by the depot supervisor. He noticed a familiar difference in how the truck handled with the full load of liquid because of the centrifugal, the liquid moving left and right, and momentum. You hit the brakes, all the fluid goes forward and pushes you forward, doesn't it? And especially if he relaxes foot brake when stopping. That's the momentum, all the liquid going forward, pushing you forward. Today, Jim was to deliver a load of diesel to a large haulage yard. He had delivered to this yard before, so he was able to carefully plan his route. We're not going to go into route planning now, but that's a big subject, isn't it? I mean, you've got to have the right vehicle and the right equipment, and you're planning for weather and congestion and are there any major events and what roads you're taking and your times and bridges and toll bridges and tunnels and goes on, but that's for a different class. The direct route to the haulage yard had a bridge with a weight restriction of 20k. So is that okay?
No.
No. What weight was his truck?
32.
32. There was also a low bridge just before the haulage yard. Would that bridge be signed, do you think?
It should be.
All bridges are signed, and it's an offence to hit a signed bridge or hitting the bridge by attempting to go through it. So if you think, oh, maybe I can fit under it and you hit the bridge, you're still going to get a fine. If you strike a bridge and you report it yourself, you may be fined up to €5,000, I believe, and it's 3 penalty points. If you strike a bridge and you don't report it, you can get up to 50,000 of a fine and 6 months in jail.
Who pays that? The driver or the company? Driver.
I would have thought the driver, because I don't know, to be honest with you, but I would have thought the driver.
Yeah,
The driver can't do something stupid like that and then you blame the company. I mean, you know the height of your vehicle, it's in the cab at all times, and you know the height of the bridge. So I would have thought that would go to the driver. Okay?
I could ask one question if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What's the max length of an Arctic truck?
16.5 meters.
That's what I have written down.
Of an articulated is, no, I said rigid is 12 metres.
Rigid 12 and rigid with trailer 18.75, yeah?
A rigid with a series of trailers, maximum length is
Okay,
18.75.
perfect. Thanks very much.
Articulated is it 6? Yeah, 16 metres, isn't it?
16.5.
16.5, yeah, 16.5.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay. On his way, Jim came across a roadblock with a detour sign that directed him onto an unfamiliar road. He knew the detour would add time to his route, so he picked up speed. While driving around a sharp right-hand bend in the road, he hit the brakes lightly. Okay, so what's that going to do, hitting the brakes on a bend?
Move the diesel forward or to the outside side of the bend.
Yeah, that's going to
He's
increase.
going to stabilise himself anyway.
Which force will that increase using your brakes on a bend? Centrifugal, yes. When he felt the wheels begin to lift slightly, he took his foot off the accelerator and drove to the outside of the bend. That's about all you can do in that situation, isn't it?
Yeah, and
If you hit the brakes, you make it worse again. So all you can do is take your foot off the accelerator and drive to the outside of the bend. That's all you can do.
He shouldn't be picking up speed on the road he did now anyway.
He should never put himself in that situation in the first place, guys. If you're doing fast enough that you feel the wheels lifting off the road, you're in a very bad situation. He then felt the wheels firmly on the road again. However, his relief was short-lived. Continuing on, Jim arrived at the foot of a long, steep incline halfway up the hill. He noticed a sign at a junction which indicated that no large goods with 3 or more axles were allowed. He knew that the detour route would be the shortest way back to his planned route, so he decided to ignore the sign. That'd be very silly, wouldn't it? That's reckless and stupid. Soon enough, he joined up with his planned route. When Jim arrived at the haulage operator's yard, he braked to a stop. Just before he came to a final halt, he relaxed the brakes and felt a sudden force acting on his truck. What force is that?
Momentum.
Momentum, exactly. The operator asked him to dispense half the load at the site and deliver the other half to a different site. Jim agreed and carefully dispensed the fuel evenly from the correct compartments. Why did he do that? Why not just take it all from the front one?
Right. Try and keep the balance between the axles.
Exactly, stability. He took it from
But he's still dropping half of that now. Is he breaking the 2080 rule?
That's for vehicles without surge plates or baffles.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a way though, yeah, it could be because he's... But then again, you see the milk trucks. They They don't have
Yeah, they're
baffles.
picking up.
Yeah,
Like.
exactly, because they don't have surge plates or baffles because you can't clean them properly then. It's
But
unhygienic.
they're not even included in the tachograph, are they?
No, that's, yeah, they
Yeah.
don't use
They're
tachographs.
designed
They
for
go
everything.
around collecting. So at one point, I assume they have to be half full. So have these
Yeah.
huge milk trucks who aren't obeying the 2080, because it's not a law, it's just a rule. So I
Yeah.
think like the milk trucks are probably the most dangerous vehicles out there. Well, they're certainly dangerous. Suddenly you want to have your wits around you, and they drive around those little country roads, those huge trucks, Very good drivers. The operator asked them to dispense half the load at the site and deliver the other half to a different site. Jim agreed and carefully dispensed the fuel evenly from the correct compartments. So he's keeping the stability of the vehicle by taking some out of each pod. However, he failed to notice a spillage. He then drove to his final drop-off point and unloaded the remaining fuel. Okay, what do you do if there's a spillage? You report it,
Yeah.
yes. So then we can find out why there was a spillage and put measures in to prevent that happening again. And you also need to clean it up. But for some reason, he didn't even notice the spillage. Okay, that was case study 2, Jim.